Charting a new course for golf in the Delaware Valley. It's time for Inside Golf. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Inside Golf presented by Hi-Fi House and Pioneer. I want to try something while I'm here on the range, and it's something I've never tried before. I've never really thought of it before until I attended an amazing event last week. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. I'm going to attempt to hit this golf ball with my eyes closed. And it's really kind of scary, but I don't know where it went. I don't care where it went. I heard that sound and it felt pretty good to me. Why is that so amazing? Well, because you probably didn't realize it, but there are thousands of golfers across the world that play golf and they are blind. There's an international association, there's a national association, there's also a regional association, the Mid-Atlantic Blind Golfers Association. It's headquartered right here in Montgomery County. And recently at Edgmont Country Club, this 62nd Blind Golfers Association National Championship took place. Our cameras were there. It was incredible. We're going to have that story as soon as Inside Golf presented by Hi-Fi House and Pioneer returns. Hey, welcome back to Inside Golf, presented by Hi-Fi House and Pioneer. Let's see, it was about, well, it was 40 years ago that the Hope for the Blind tournament came to Edgmont Country Club. It featured some of the most prominent and most proficient blind golfers from around the world. Bob Hope, he was in town. He helped to host the event that club president Naz Mariani and club pro Tiny Padone had kind of adopted as their own. Featured an array of international blind golfers. Well, here we are 40 years later, and you know what? The golfers returned, and no pun intended, this was quite an event, quite a sight to see.
Hit the trees. Yeah, that's a heck of a start.
Meet David Wall from the Canadian province of Saskatchewan, a long way from Edgmont, Pennsylvania. But David and the 37 other golfers who are teeing it up on this day are some of the most gifted golfers you'll ever see. Oh, by the way, they can only hear you. This is the 62nd Annual Blind Golfers Association National Championship. Everyone playing has had to qualify in regional competitions held across the country over the summer. They have converged on Edgmont to help celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Hope for the Blind tournament, hosted back in '67 by comedian Bob Hope. Sheila Drummond from Lehighton, Pennsylvania, and the only female member of the Blind Golfers Association to have a hole-in-one, was there. She did that this past summer. Joe Lazaro, the past president of the USBGA and 7-time national champion, came from his home in Massachusetts. And world champion Bruce Hooper from San Antonio, Texas, was seeking his 3rd national championship. So you're thinking, golf is hard enough. How can someone who can't see play? Ty Thompson from Lexington, Kentucky, competes in the B2 flight.
I have no central vision at all, and I can work off of shadows, some movement, and contrast. That's all I have to work with. A B1, on the other hand, is much worse off. They have no light that enters their eye at all. It's total dark vision. A B3, on the other hand, is much better equipped to handle golf because they can see relatively well, but are still legally blind.
So can you stand 100 yards away from the green, 150 yards away from the green? What will you see?
I will not see a green. I will not see a flag. From that distance, in fact, I won't see a flag unless maybe I'm 15 feet away from it and I might see movement. And that, just because I at one time was sighted, I could tell that that would be a flag location.
Blind golf is a team sport. The coach gives us all the information that we need about the course, gives us proper alignment, helps us with club selection, gives us distances. So they're really our eyes on the golf course since we can't see anything.
But you still have to pull the trigger, though.
Oh yeah, we have to swing the club. I mean, they'll give us all the information that we need. It's up to us to make the shot. You know, even on the green, I say every putt to me is a straight putt because he reads all the breaks. He might say it's a 20-foot downhill putt, but you need to putt it like it's a 10-foot putt. So, you know, we still have to try to get it there, do the best we can.
We try to play around 3 times a week. We don't, once in a while, when it gets cooler, we might hit some balls in the yard or go to a range. Usually we don't do much range work anymore. We used to do more, but before a tournament, we'll go do some range work. But other than that, we play between 3 and 5 times a week, even if it's only 9 holes.
Each player in all 3 flights is allowed a coach. The USGA has allowed 3 rule changes in regard to blind golf, and having a coach is one. Secondly, that coach is permitted to stand behind the player throughout his or her pre-shot routine and swing. Lastly, blind golfers, because their depth perception is skewed, can ground their club in a hazard. That is it. They play regulation-length courses, and all penalties apply.
Every golfers ask us, do you have more senses do your senses improve? And the answer is yes, because you have to use them. So I tell golfers, use your senses. And of course, visualization, you hear a lot about that on the tour now, where the players are out there closing their eyes, visualizing the shot. I guess that's been going on as long as golf has been around, trying to come up with a way of putting yourself into the mood to hit a good shot.
So Judy can tell you this is 320 yards, about 185 yards of dog legs to the left. And right away you start to put all those pieces together.
Yes.
When he steps up to the ball and he says, "I see it," then I know he's ready. He actually makes that comment, "I see it this way."
And she'll say, step away from it. Get away from it. You're not ready. And she'll start again. Start again. She has to go find it.
Most of the time. If he hits it straight, I find it for sure.
Yeah. You haven't been fired yet, right?
No, not
she's not going to
yet.
be either.
If you know the Edgmont layout, it's very hilly and tree-lined, a challenge for sighted golfers. But the commitment here and the club's vision has always been, as the Blind Golfers Association says, you don't have to see it to tee it.
Edgmont has been the home of the Mid-Atlantic Blind Golf Association since over 40 years now, 45 years. Bob Bowman started it with Tiny and got it all started. My first lesson was with Dave Kryskoff. Tiny said, if you can keep this guy playing golf, I'll let you teach. And Mr. Kryskoff was a big guy like me, and he played till he passed away, and he was part of the local. I'm more involved in the local. They have like 30 tournaments locally here at all the different clubs.
I was playing with a blind individual, and we were going up the 4th hole, and we were out there a good hour, hour and a half. And we're about, 3/4 of the way up the hill, and he says, "Ed," he says, "I want to really thank you." I said, "For what?" He says, "For coming out here today." I said, "Oh, don't worry about it." He says, No. He says, "Seriously," he says, "you let me hit every shot." He says, "Sometimes when I get a coach, they grab the cart and they go up 100 yards and they drop a ball and they tell me I hit it there." He says, "I know how far I hit it. You made me play. You not made me. You allowed me to play every shot," he says, "and I really appreciate it." And, I never had a thank you that meant more to me than that one, honestly.
It's 6.
Hey, there's a noise.
Yeah?
I love that I can still do it. I think that's the most important thing. I had quit playing because I lost my eyesight. And when I met all these wonderful people, these blind golfers, they inspired me to keep trying and keep playing. And this is the result. We're playing golf and we're enjoying every minute of it.
There's no magic wand, there's no special tools, there's nothing, no tee you can buy, no club you can buy, nobody you can get. It's take lessons, practice, play golf, just like everybody else.
This national event will move on to another city next year. On the local scene, the Middle Atlantic Blind Golfers Association is already working on their 2008 schedule. There were more than 30 tournaments in 2007. New players are encouraged to join, and coaches are always needed too. Log on to mabga.org for more information. And blindgolf.com is another great source for details of events around the country. And you don't have to be an adult to take part.
We work with blind and vision impaired children. Yesterday we had a clinic here and we had kids from Overbrook School for the Blind and St. Lucy's Day School. We had about 15 kids here that we worked with yesterday. So that's very impressive, because we're hoping that if we get these children started while they're still young, they may stick with golf, and then maybe they'll join the organization when they're older. So, I mean, it's a great sport for blind and vision impaired people, because it's something they can do for the rest of their life.